Birds in the trap, they gonna stay by the Mara. You are not my boss. All right. Let's see. Let's get up in here. 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 All right. So today, what are we talking about? Let me make a little makeup. Get in the chair real quick. All right. So we're talking about the black male agenda that came out. If you don't know what that is, stick around here. Put me on. Just hang out for a little bit. We're gonna talk about some things. We're talking with Roland Martin. He's going to be talking about what Kamala Harris's black male agenda is. Now, we went over that yesterday. We're going to go in depth about it a little bit more with some political correspondence here. Also, we have the Charlamagne the God and Kamala Harris interview. So I want to make sure we take care of that and touch on that too. Because I'm tired. I'm tired of people saying there is no plan with Kamala Harris. Like, it's one thing to have, like, your views about this person that make sense. But a lot of times when we talk to these people, they don't really make sense with what they have going on. They don't really have a reason to not roll with her. I'm not saying that you have to. What I'm saying is the reasons that you have to say, I'm not voting for Kamala Harris, I'm rolling with Trump, make no sense. Every single day on this stream, I refute Trump supporters, not Republicans, but Trump supporters who vehemently go for Trump because it's very easy to debunk a lot of the things. Hey, I was doing better in 2017. That's because of Obama. Hey, he's not a bad guy. He is. It's so many ways to debunk that stuff. But that's not what we're here for. Okay? We're here to talk about the black male agenda. A lot of black men, a lot of y'all in here are black that are coming in. A lot of black men tend to say, I'm not voting for Kamala Harris. Well, why is that? Right? Their deep-seated reasoning for this, a lot of times, is rooted in misogyny. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's what it is, right? They don't want to have a female boss. Essentially, that's what the president is, the boss of the nation. But they don't want to have that, right? They feel like she's unqualified. Well, why? She's been in every branch of government except, well, actually, no, not except for the last one. She's in the executive branch right now as the vice president. She's been in the judicial branch, she's been in the legislative branch, and she's been in the executive branch. She's touched every single one. I don't know of a president that has done that. And that says a lot in itself. But again, because of the backlash that black men feel as though the Democratic Party is turning their back on them, or whatever their reasoning may be, they say, listen, I want something from Kamala Harris. She said, okay. So she gave us 5 things. And we're going to sit here with Roland Martin and talk about it. There hasn't been one. Hasn't been one what? Got to give me some more context. But let's jump right into the video. That's why y'all came to see. Let's go ahead and knock this out. Again, if you're new here, give me a like, give me a follow. We want to get to 10,000 likes. That's what we hit every single day. It don't even take that long, honestly, because we're talking about some good stuff in here. You got anything you want to say? Get any comments, questions? Please put it in the chat. Let's get it going.
Unveiled today a plan that speaks directly to black men. She lays out, it's called With the Tools to Achieve Financial.
First of all, that is a smart brother there. You know why? He's an alpha. He's a good guy. You know what's crazy? Quick story about this before we jump into this. I was at Nationals. I had just become an alpha. I just crossed Greek. And I was at Nationals in Florida. And Roland Martin came. I didn't really know too much about him back then. This is like 2007. And so yes, I'm back. He was strolling, party hopping, whatever you young kids want to call it. He was doing that up and down the line. I'm talking about a 1970, 1982 stroll. I said, get this old man up out of here. How you doing your chat? I don't know what that means. I'm on Streamlabs. I'm not on my other thing. So I don't know. I don't know if people can get on here or anything like that. But anyway, Roland Martin, let's talk.
Freedom, but doesn't just cover finances, deals with health and other issues. Here's some of the things in this particular proposal from the Harris-Walz campaign. Provide $1 million fully forgivable loans to black entrepreneurs to start a business.
And before we jump into it, like I said, he's probably gonna break down each one of those things. But I do want y'all to take a look. What's strolling? Insane loads of people watching. I don't know. I think Roland Martin, maybe he crossed in the 90s. Maybe crossing like the 90s. But his stroll style, his party hop style was very old school. Let's say that. I was the one that brought the whistle. I don't know if you guys are in college, go to HBCUs. I brought a different flavor to my school, and we were kind of moving evolution of our stroll game. That's not what we're here to talk. Stop. It's not what we're here to talk about. Anyway, on the screen here, we have the 5 things that she laid out. Now again, he crossed late 80s. I knew it. He strolled like it. I knew it. Anyway, provide $1 million. At first I thought it would say $1 million. I was like, damn, getting a $1 million loan for small businesses? That's crazy. But $1 million fully forgivable loans, which wouldn't that be a grant? Maybe you got to complete certain things. To black entrepreneurs to start a business. Now, she has to be very careful because of things like what Poker Walking Dead just said. Everybody should open an LLC just to get $50,000. No. Stop. That's dumb. Don't do that. It's crazy. But she has to be careful with this because I don't know if you guys know, the Fearless Fund. Fearless Fund is 2 black women that wanted to give grants to black female entrepreneurs. The problem was affirmative action had just gotten struck down, like the year prior, okay, by a man named Edward Bloom. He was on a rampage for affirmative action to be taken down for years, for like almost a decade, and he finally won. So they had litigation because he sued, right? Because it was discrimination, okay? So you have to be careful. Now, you know what's crazy? Actually, I do think that there is language. He doesn't have the actual post about what it is. So what it really says is provide $1 million forgivable loans to black entrepreneurs and others. Okay? Now, why did I say and others? Based on what the story I just told, right? The and others part covers her and her administration just in case someone wants to sue and say this is a discriminatory policy. That makes sense? So when we go in our shade rooms, our neighborhood talks, on site, and we see people say, well, why did she say and others? Now you got some ammo. Because she doesn't want to get sued for discriminatory practices. Make sense? Okay. Champion education, training programs, and mentoring programs. Now, again, he's going to go through all this stuff, and we'll probably cut him off because I want to jump to Kamala Harris. I got to be done by 9 o'clock because I got to go to my night thing. Now, what she's going to do is trying to empower black men to become teachers. Right? Because we learn better. What the fuck was that? We learn better when someone that looks like us is in the classroom. That's facts. That's statistics. Thank you, Ms. Tammy, for sharing this out now. I appreciate it. So she's empowering these people to get educational programs to become teachers, educators, right? Also, mentorship to put black men in positions. Am I losing power? Hold on a second. I gotta plug my MacBook in, y'all. Hold on 1 second. That's weird. That's crazy. There we go. Right, to empower black men to be in positions of power. When I was younger, I was groomed, not groomed in that way. Wait. I was mentored by a VP at Coca-Cola, right? That was one of my mentors, okay? He taught me a lot about things when I was in my early 20s. It's important that we have those types of people in our lives. When it's not an everyday conversation, it might be a once a month, once every 6 month check-in. But that person has paved their own way and can help you get through the brush quicker. That's why these types of programs are so important. Now, I understand that a lot of black males, and I'm going to say black males because that's what this is about, are very adamant about going against the grain. They don't want to conform. Hey, I don't care about this. Why? Too little, too late. First of all, there have been plenty of programs to support African American endeavors for years. You are not. Let me say this very. Let me get. Hold on. You are not going to get a push notification that there is a loan grant or any other funding source for you ever, unless you sign up for that. But new policies, new laws, new bills being introduced are not going to come directly to your phone. The information you so adamantly seek has to be sought. You understand? Make sense? So when people say too little, too late, she's had 4 years, blah, all that, there have been plenty of things that have happened over 4 years that you did not take advantage of because you were worried about your own personal life. And that's no slight to you or anyone else that you know, but it is saying that you were not paying attention to what needed to be paid attention to. I'm not going to say now like I know so much. I know because I read things and because I get paid for it now. So now it's my job to educate myself and thus educate people on these types of topics. That makes sense? So.
Excuse me.
Oh, excuse me. Launching the National Health Equity Initiative to focus on black men. This is to help us as black men who are super susceptible to these diseases such as diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, making a health initiative for African American males, providing resources in the community, maybe some med vans. What's up, Marcel? Some med vans to come to the community, give, I don't know, diabetes testing, various things to help us stay alive longer so that we are here to provide for our families. I'm speaking from a black male perspective. You understand? It is imperative that we are here. My father has been alive my entire life. My battery went out in my car. I didn't want to go to a mechanic, so I said, hey, Dad, can you come by and help me? My father, at 60-something years old, who owns a company, said, I'm going to be downtown. I'm going to come by your house. I'm going to come by and visit y'all. My dad came here. We worked in my parking garage, and we changed my battery. Now, he's getting older. So I said, hey, Dad, I know you super LOA. He's also LOA. But let me do this. And we sat there between him, me, and YouTube University, because we didn't know what the fuck we was doing. We changed the battery in my car. Now imagine if my father had not taken care of himself when he found out he got diabetes over 10 years ago. We lost him in 2014. I wouldn't have had my father here to help me. Black Geek Energy. I wish I had a dad. These are the situations that happen in our community all the time. Whether it's incarceration, whether it's not stepping up to be a dad, whether it's being lost to illness, whether it's being lost to various illnesses early. These are the ways we empower our community to take care of our families, empower our families, and teach them to take care of the next generation. And it's the fact that we see so many black men disparagingly make comments about these things that pisses me off. And you know what's crazy? When I record videos, I be doing like 50 takes. And I'm not bullshitting my 50 takes. It'd be 50 videos of a 45-second video. But when I'm on stream and I'm feeling the energy of what I'm talking about, it just goes. It just flows. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. And lastly, legalizing recreational marijuana and creating opportunities in black America. Now, I did see some people getting upset about this. Right? It's pandering politics. It means nothing. Amy Lee, please get up out of here. No, actually, no, stay. 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 I want you to listen to this. You see, pandering politics is just called politics when it helps you. You understand what I'm saying? People think because it's something to help people, that it's pandering. But don't you want your politician to do something for you? Isn't that why you elected them in the first place? Some would say that the student loan forgiveness is pandering. But to the people who got their loans forgiven, 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, one dude, 500,000. It was right on time. It freed up money and capital for them so that they can make moves in their lives to produce wealth for their families. Would you call that pandering? Sure. But it worked. It helped. So when we say pandering, I got $220,000 forgiven. Here's the thing I want you to know. Here's the thing. I have a private loan. I will never have my thing forgiven. But I'm not sitting there hating saying, damn, man, why they got anything forgiven? I ain't get mine forgiven. What's the point in doing that? Why would I do that? You see what I'm saying? Why would I do that? What's the point? You know? She has done nothing, and now because she's losing the black vote, here's a little fake promise. Well, my dear, let me explain to you how politics works. See, the president has an overarching goal, but they have to get Congress and Senate to agree on these things. So then they produce a bill, the bill gets voted on, and it moves to the next section until it ultimately lands on the desk. Now, the president could say, I want to give every black person $500 in their pocket, but if it doesn't make it outside the house, guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen? Nothing. That's how politics works. And I understand that you may not know, Julie, how you doing? I understand you may not understand how politics works. That's why you're here to sit here and learn with me. That's why you didn't leave out when you first said that this is a pandering thing, because you wanted to sit and learn a little bit more. And I hope and I pray that you did. And I will preach these same topics over and over and over and over because I want you to get it. I want you to leave out of here knowing a little bit more than you knew before you walked in this door. I know how it works, still pandering. You don't know how it works because you just said she didn't do anything. The vice president can't do anything. We've been over this numerous times. We've been over this since July. Most people have said this. You now know this. And that's my problem with MAGA. They don't want to learn new information. And their opinions don't change once they understand new facts. That's the part I don't understand. When I thought that Kamala Harris locked up all these black men, I felt a way. Then I did the research and found out she didn't do that. And so I changed my opinion. I could have been like you, Amy, and been like, but she locked up black men. And then someone would have been like, but didn't you just look up the fact she didn't? And I said, yes. Well, why do you still think that? I would look crazy. And I don't want you to look crazy, Amy. I want better for you, even if you don't want that for yourself. You understand? Cool. The legalization of recreational marijuana. Now, some people took issue with this, right? Because recreational marijuana, wow, marijuana for black men. Well, we know that this is disproportionately affecting African American men. We talk about it all the time, right? We know this is the thing. This is not new information. You didn't just learn this, right? And so because weed is not legal everywhere, it is criminalized somewhere, right? And because we want to legalize recreational marijuana, that would take away the fact, hey, it's illegal to do this. So now black men, the second part of this, create opportunities for black Americans would be to allow the selling of damn, I'm looking for a word for that. Let's call it constructive weed selling or marijuana selling, right? Now, instead of having to hide the money in the floor, which is what they have to do because the money is not FDIC insured, now you can get legitimate loans, legitimate grants to fund the distribution of marijuana. The same way there's a liquor store, there can be this. See what I mean? Are we glad we learning together, right? Are we glad we getting some information? If you new here, this is what I do. Give me a follow, give me a like. If you've been here, this ain't nothing new. I know you probably like, but we can't see you. So, put something in the chat. I don't know. No, Sean, listen. The main thing is education, my man. I understand, like, I have a frat brother, right? There's 18 of us on my line, right? Number one is voting Trump. And though he's made up his mind about this, the conversations can still happen. He's still my boy. I'm going to homecoming next week. I'm still going to kick it with him. At the same time, I want to understand the ideology and the mindset of these individuals because it makes no sense not to study. I'm not even calling my enemy, but to study someone on the opposite side. You see, bipartisanism is not just a political thing, but it's an ideology that can happen in everyday life. We don't have to meet each other with discourse. I want to understand why. Well, Republicans are the party of the family. Well, do you not think? I just told you a story about my dad. My mom's at home too, so we have a family. I have 2 sisters. Well, you know about religion. Well, I believe in God too. Did you not know we're the same? But these kind of discourse is what needs to happen. Anyway, Roland, take it away, buddy.
Champion education, training, and mentorship programs. Support a regulatory framework for cryptocurrency, any number of things there. Now, of course, you've had folks who've been calling for, oh, we need this specific plan. But the reality is, what you see right here also impacts all black people, not just black men. She wants to create and invest in programs that help expand pathways for job opportunities for black men, including promoting apprenticeships, strengthening the public service loan forgiveness program, and investing in more black male teachers. Now, I sat down with her yesterday in North Carolina. We're going to play that interview for you in about 30 minutes.
What are these rings he's wearing? What are these championship rings he's wearing? I love him. He's a corny brother, but I love him nonetheless, man. I love him nonetheless.
But right now, though, I do want to talk about this particular agenda. Now, what's happening right now is The group of black men are on a Zoom call talking about this very thing. And so they're talking, Trey Baker with the campaign is talking to Tony West, the brother-in-law of Vice President Kamala Harris. Let's go live to that call right now.
President, we've been on the road almost nonstop since the convention, really. And we've got 3 weeks to go. Sort of two things I'll mention. First is that, or three things. First is that this campaign, as you all well know, this election is very, very close. We've got 3 weeks left before we start, before election day. And it is so close in all the battleground states.
I have not voted. But you know who did vote? My mom. What's crazy is my mother hit us 8 a.m. in the group chat, in the family group chat. Was like, hey, y'all, I voted. Like, it started today. Yeah, and I'm done. Where y'all at? I was like, shit. And my wife. Yeah, thank you, Black Geek. And my wife went to vote without me. Her political commentary husband was in the bed, heard her leave, went to vote and came back. Couldn't believe it. Blew my mind. I was ready to call the lawyers up. Be like, yo, it's not going to work.
And I believe that this is one of the few elections in American history that will be decided by not just
Already in the tunnel.
men. And I think that creates a tremendous opportunity to speak to black men about the issues that we care about.
I don't care about
most.
this guy.
Second thing I'll say is that the vice president is no stranger.
Trey asked me to join the calls. I said, Trey, I'm kind of working right now, so I can't do that. Let me bring up my panel, Dr. Julianne Malveaux, economist, president, emerita, Bennett College, also the author out of D.C., Dr. Amakongo Dibinga Sr., professorial lecturer, School of International Service.
All right, we're not going to watch this. I do want to watch. There's two things I want to watch. I don't know if I have enough time. I don't have time. But I do want to watch two things. All right, what's like a poll? I don't know how many people are in here. I don't know if people are in here. But let's take a little poll real fast. Do we want to see Kamala Harris and Charlamagne the God, or Donald Trump at the Chicago Economist Club flounder around his answers? Now, I gotta work. I gotta get going. Now, I'm gonna set the framework of both of these conversations. Charlamagne the God is having a digital town hall on the radio with Kamala Harris. It's about an hour, so you know that's really 3 with us. Or Donnie dancing, as my man Mike Graves just said, Donnie dancing at the. You know what? I'll save that for tomorrow because that hour-long thing is gonna be at least 4 hours, and I need some time with y'all. I'm going to a funeral tomorrow, but when I come back, so what we're gonna do is. Let me go ahead and duplicate this.
That on one of our.
Let's see. It's definitely gonna pop up. Give me 1 second, y'all. Don't go nowhere. Donald Trump, economist. Ooh. Oh baby, an hour and 4 minutes. Hey y'all, you know what time it is. If your house is dirty, if your car is dirty, if your kids are dirty. It's time to clean up. Okay? So, Lavender, don't be like that. What, you trying to leave? But no, I really do want to understand, and this is a part 2, because let's be honest, guys, it's a very tight race. So to understand his economic policies and plans, it is important that we do so. So let's go ahead and watch this right here.
Let me invite onto the stage President Trump.
Now, I think this one is impactful because for the life of me, as you guys know, I cover this kind of stuff. And for the life of me, I have no clue what Donald Trump's policies are when it comes to economics. Right? We know the tariffs. We know no tax on tips. We know overtime. How is that going to make the cost of things go down? You see what I mean? Like, they're going to touch on this in here as well. When you break down Donald Trump's tariff plan, right? Think about it. The plan is to have a tariff on a country. And then because the cost is so high, we can bring the product being manufactured here in America. But number one, we need to see if the tariff is actually working. Don't do this right now. Don't do this. How long do you think that's going to take for us to figure out how long before the tariffs are working? I say 6 months. Let's say it takes 6 months. So right now we're in 2025. We're in June of 2025. Hey, the tariffs are working. We can start bringing factories and manufacturing back to America. Well, we have to zone, contract, bid, just to build the factory. That takes another 6 months. So now we're at 2026. Donald Trump only has 2028. We're at 2026. Okay? We've broken ground on the first factory. Takes about, what, 6 months, a year? Let's say 6 months. We're halfway through 2026. We built the first factory. Now we've sourced the factory, we've hired people, we're up and running. But we have to build trust in the market. So that's another 6.5, 8 months. So now we're in 2027 and we just started bringing production back to America. Donald Trump has less than a year left. You see what I mean? So this plan of we're going to put tariffs and we're going to bring these jobs and these factories and all this stuff back to America, that's not something that happens overnight, is what I'm getting at. So that's the part that I didn't think about until I was watching some clips of this. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. You got to build the factories. You got to start making the stuff. And not only that, the prices, while the factories are being built, we still got to have the grapes and the items and the products. So the cost is definitely gone up because the person being charged a tariff added more money to compensate. The person who imported added more money to compensate. The only person who can't add more money to compensate is us. So while they're trying to figure out this whole factory thing, we still paying $9 for a gallon of milk. Anyway. We've been slowing up, trying to get 10K. Don't you do this to me now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Have a seat.
I like that crowd. That's a nice group of people. Thank you very much.
Standing ovation.
Thank you.
President Trump, thank you for doing this, as we said. And you heard the reception there. The business people of Chicago, like everywhere else, they like a lot of the things you want to do in terms of tax cuts and some of the spending proposals. But
tax cuts for who? Tax cuts for who? That's really what. And these are economists. These are finance bros. They got bread. Tax cuts affect them. They don't affect you.
like many business people, what they're often worried about is the cost.
Mm-hmm.
And the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, which is a bipartisan outfit, put out some predictions the other day. If you add up all the promises you've made, and your plans would add $7.5 trillion to the debt.
Mm-hmm.
The Economist Club of Chicago. He already ran up $7 trillion the first go round. This plan is going to add another 7.5. Let's do some math real quick. 7 plus 7, 14 and a half, 14 and a half. So we're $14.5 trillion in debt. God damn it.
That's more than twice the total for Vice President Harris. You're on course to push up debt up to 150% of GDP.
Confetti!
This is a very business-like audience.
Yeah.
Why should they trust you with that?
Because we're about growth. She's got no growth whatsoever, and we're all about growth. We're going to bring companies back to our country. You look at even today, as I was driving over, I see these empty, old, beautiful, like steel mills and factories that are empty and falling down. Some have been converted to senior citizens' homes, but that's not going to do the trick. And we're going to bring the companies back. We're going to lower taxes still further for companies that are going to make their product in the USA. We're going to protect those companies with strong tariffs, because I'm a believer in tariffs. I'm not sure that you are. I don't think you are, but I congratulate you on your career. But To me, the most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff. And it's my favorite word. It needs a public relations firm to help it. But to me, it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary.
Tariffs, do you think that will bring in the revenues? To use
See how
another
you hold up.
bipartisan group?
Yeah.
I like this.
They say
Hold on,
they only
my bad.
bring in $200 billion.
See what I'm saying? I like this dude. He was like, "Thank you for complimenting me, sir. What about the tariffs?" And I looked up how much it costs. I don't know. It doesn't say how much it is. I'll keep looking though. I'll answer that question eventually.
That is that's barely the cost of 2 of your promises.
Yeah, but that's like for what company are you talking about? Okay, look, I've brought in with tariffs, and I was just getting started. Then COVID came, and we had because I tell you what, I did a very good job in COVID. Nobody knew what the hell it was. I call it the China virus because I like being a little more accurate. But when that came, we got hundreds of billions of dollars just from China alone, and I hadn't even started yet. But tariffs are two things, if you look at it. Number one is for protection of the companies that we have here and the new companies that will move in, because we're going to have thousands of companies coming into this country. We're going to grow it like it's never grown before, and we're going to protect them when they come in, because we're not going to have somebody undercut them. And I could give you an example of this if you want. Would you like me to? Because it just
Give me a
happened.
quick example, then I will come back.
I just found out about it. So I've been talking about for the last year about Detroit and how horribly it has been. It's just horrible, because we've been talking about Detroit's coming back for 40 years, and it's never come back. And it's very dependent on the car industry. Well, they've lost 60% of the business over a long period of time. And what happened is I found out a friend of mine builds auto plants. That's all he does. He builds auto plants. That's what he's good at. He doesn't want to build an apartment. All he wants to build and he builds the biggest in the world. And for the last year and a half, if anybody's heard me speak, I was talking about Mexico as a tremendous challenge for us.
He's told this story before. Like I said, if you're chronically online like me, you know that he's told this story before. His homie that was like, "Oh, I never build over there because all the stuff gets built over there." He's told the story before.
Right now, tremendous. China is building massive auto plants in Mexico. And they're going to build them, and they're going to take those cars and sell them into the United States. They're very near the border, and they're going to have all the advantages and none of the disadvantages, and that's going to be the end of Michigan. It's going to be the end of, frankly, South Carolina. Going to be the end of everything. So I've been talking about this, and I said to him about 9 months ago, I said, "You know what? I want you to do me a favor, John." His name is John. I don't want to give his last name because he might not like it. But I said, I want to see an auto plant. I want to go and see one of these. You press a button and everything works, right? I want to see one of the big ones. He said, "All right, good." I said, "Where do we go?" "I'd like to go to Michigan. I'd like to go to someplace in the United States." He said, "No, we can't do that." "Why?" "We're not building anything big in the United States. That's not where we don't build the big ones here." I said, "Where are you building the biggest ones?" He said, "In Mexico. We're building giant plants, the biggest plants anywhere in the world." "In Mexico," I said. "So you mean they're going to make cars cheaply? They have advantages over labor and other things, and they're going to sell them into the United States, and they're going to put Michigan out of business? Is that what?" "I don't know anything about that. All I do is build the plants. If you want to see a plant, we'll go to Mexico. I'll show you the biggest plant in the world." That was 9 months ago. I saw him, and I talked about it all the time because I think it's a serious threat to our country, because not only autos, but other things. So then I see him. 2 days ago, I was talking at another club, very nice club, and like this, except, I don't know, I think you people are probably even wealthier, okay? This was in Detroit.
You see? He only talks to the wealthy, the rich. This is who the tax plan benefits. Did he just call us broke? He did. He did. I told y'all this. I be telling y'all this all the time. I was getting money with Trump. That's because you had individual tax breaks. You didn't have the wealthy tax breaks. The individual tax breaks expired. He dangled them over your head. He lost the election. That's why you still don't have no money, because the tax breaks for individuals expired. And they won't come back. They won't be up for renewal or any sort of thing like that until 2025. We've been talking about this.
Detroit, okay, which was appropriate. And I was showing them all sorts of charts about how their car, it's just gone down. It's like terrible. And I saw him and I said, "Oh, how are you doing? How have you been?" I said, "Could I ask you, how are those plants that you mentioned, those giant plants that you're building in Mexico, how is that coming along? Have you finished them?" "No, sir. They abandoned the project when they heard you're running. They abandoned the project when they saw that you were winning and doing well." I said, "Wow."
What is the story?
All the same.
Because I told them, and I said it publicly, they're not going to sell one car into the United States. I said, if I run this country, if I'm going to be president of this country, I'm going to put a 100, 200, 2,000% tariff. They're not going to sell one car into the United States.
I want y'all to listen to this type of stuff, man. Tell me, how does this negatively impact American consumers? Having Chinese. Now, for those who don't know, China has been killing it when it comes to electric vehicles. You can get an electric vehicle for $11,000. 11 grand. EV car. A Tesla Model 3 is 29. And you see them clapping because they're rich. They have stock in Ford. They have stock in Tesla. You and I, who just have cars, maybe you want to get an electric car. You wouldn't mind a little competition. Keep the prices normal. That's how you keep prices normal. Competition. But when you put 100, 200, 1,000% tariff on these vehicles, well, you stop them coming in. You see, Elon has been cozying up to Trump because the government subsidizes Tesla. Tesla's not very profitable. It costs them a lot of money to make this stuff, and they don't sell it. Right? So that's why Elon Musk has been cozying up to him. Because as long as we have these tariffs on these electric vehicles in China, Elon Musk still has a company. But what's been happening, the other big boys, your Ford, your Chevy, have been working on electric vehicles themselves. So now we have a stylish, affordable, eco-friendly electric vehicle. We don't need Tesla like that no more. So you may have seen the clip where Elon Musk says, if Donald Trump doesn't win, I'm going to jail. That's why. He's not going to jail, but he is going to be hurt because his little robot project he did was fake. Those weren't really robots. Those are just people. They're like a mocap suit. Like, people were controlling it. Because if you hear, like, I want y'all to go after this, go to the clip of the people talking to the robots. They don't have AI type voices. They sounded like a regular dude in IT talking via headset. It was insane. I wouldn't even put that clip out.
Because we're not going to destroy our country because I know you're an anti-tariff guy, but I'm the...
No, he don't know that. And I'm glad this white man sitting next to him is anti-tariffs. Because he knows the trickle-down effect ends up hurting people. Like most of us, actually.
Exact opposite. If I had... There was no other way I could have stopped them other than, what am I going to do, negotiate with Mexico, with China? You're not going to get anything from that. I said I'm going to put a 100, 200, or 300. I'm going to put the highest tariff in history, meaning I'm going to stop them.
Thank you. Marcel brought up a good point. The bartender at the event that Elon had, matter of fact, can I find it? The bartender robot, somebody asked, are you a AI? Are you really an AI? And it kind of got quiet and everything. He said, are you like a robot? Are you like controlled by a human? He said, I'm human assisted. Tesla robot bartender. They knew what I was asking for. Nah, I want to see.
People are
Give me a second. Here we go. You know how I bring up facts and whatnot. All right, can you see that? Boom.
divided over Tesla's new Optimus robot, but not for the reason you were thinking.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
How you doing? What can I get you?
I'm sorry. Listen to that voice. I want y'all to listen very closely. Listen to this voice.
You're thinking.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
How you doing? What can I get you?
Can I try the blood orange?
Blood orange coming right up.
And as he starts off by asking for a drink, you can tell just how human the robot sounds, leaving many people to believe that there was a person controlling it. But it gets even crazier when he shows you just how quick the robot is at handing you your drink.
How's your night going?
This is awesome. Love it.
Good. Hopefully the drink makes it better. There you go, sir.
Appreciate
Nice
it.
cold beverage.
Do you think they'll take over? People are divided.
That sounds like a white dude that works in IT. But again, if you believe it's a robot, that's on you.
From ever selling a car into the United States. So I just see the guy by accident. I see him. He says, sir, they've abandoned, and by the way, they built foundations. They were really rocking. They were going to do it. They thought that I was going to win, or maybe they're just holding up. I tell you this, if I don't win, those factories are going to wipe out this country. They're the biggest factories ever built for cars. They're going to wipe out our country. If she wins, and she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. If she wins, she's not going to be thinking about, I couldn't, every speech I made having to do with cars, but every speech I made having to do with tariffs, I'd mentioned that our country is being threatened by Mexico. Now, all of those things, beyond even the car companies, all of those things are now dead. They're dead. I asked them, will they start? Probably not. They're dead as a doornail. If she gets in, it'll start up again.
President Trump, I'll let you give your example.
No,
you talked a lot about tariffs. You look at the American economy, 40 million jobs rely on trade. It accounts for 27% of GDP.
Okay.
If you cut that off, that's also going to have an effect on many, many business people here.
Yeah.
Tariffs also have another side. Isn't that something that you have to acknowledge?
No.
You could be plunging America into the biggest trade war since Smoot-Hawley.
But there are no tariffs.
You're going to stop. There are tariffs already.
No, there are no tariffs. All you have to do is build your plant in the United States, and you don't have any tariffs.
People,
This
a
is
lot
what
of
I
places like this, there are a lot of jobs that rely on foreigners coming here. You're going to basically stop trade with China. You're talking about 60% trade on that, 60% tariffs on that. You're talking, as you said, 100, 200% on things you don't really like. You're also talking about 10, 20% tariffs on the rest of the world. That is going to have a serious effect on the overall economy. And yes, you're going to find some people who will gain from individual tariffs. The overall effect could be massive.
I agree. I agree. It's going to have a massive effect, positive effect. It's going to be a positive, not a negative.
Well,
let me just let me tell you. I know how
example.
committed you are to this, and it must be hard for you to spend 25 years talking about tariffs as being negative, and then have somebody explain to you that you're totally wrong. It'll have a negative. It will have. I'll go a step further. If you don't do this, this country has no chance.
40 million jobs is a lot of jobs to rely on.
They're all coming back. You've lost
jobs. Those are 40 million jobs in America that rely on trade.
Are you ready? John Deere, great company. They announced about a year ago they're going to build big plants outside of the United States, right? They're going to build them in Mexico.
And you threatened
they're also going to build them.
They stopped.
That's right. I said, if John Deere builds those plants, they're not selling anything into the United States. They just announced yesterday they're probably not going to build the plants, okay? I kept the jobs here, and I'll keep them. John Deere will stay here. And I'll tell John Deere, if you do build outside of the United States, you can if you want. For instance, India is a very tough country. It's not only China. You know, China is I would say, probably the toughest. But there are a lot of tough. You know what's very tough? European Union. Our beautiful European countries, wonderful, wonderful. If you add them up, they're almost the size of us. They treat us so badly. We have a deficit. I said to Angela Merkel when she was there, she's not there anymore, I wonder why, but when she was there, I said, Angela, how many Chevrolets do we have in Berlin? Why, Donald, you have none. He said, that's right. How many Fords do we have in Frankfurt? I don't know, none. I said, that's right. You know how many cars we have? Mercedes-Benz, BMW, all of the different Volkswagen, millions and, ready? The higher the tariff, the more likely it is that the company will come into the United States and build a factory in the United States so it doesn't have to pay the tariff.
That would take many.
No, it will go quickly.
Years.
In fact,
Hold up. See? Hold up. What I just say?
but not the way you figured. I was always very good at mathematics.
Yes.
Let me tell you, you're saying $3 trillion. Those companies,
$3 billion
no,
worth of
and they don't have to pay. And if by the higher the tariff, the more likely it is to have them come into the
The higher
country.
the tariff, the more you're going to put on the value of that piece, those goods, the higher people are going to pay in shops.
Ready? The higher the tariff, the more likely it is that the company will come into the United States and build a factory in the United States so it doesn't have to pay the tariff.
That would take many.
No, it will go.
That would take many,
In
many
fact,
years.
I'll tell you, there's another theory is that the tariff, you make it so high, so horrible, so obnoxious that they'll come right away. When I do the 10%, 10% is really, first of all, 10% when you collect it is hundreds of billions of dollars. The numbers that you're talking about, all reducing our deficit. But really, so there's two ways of looking at a tariff. You can do it as a money-making instrument, or you can do it as something to get the companies. Now, if you want the companies to come in, the tariff has to be a lot higher than 10%, because 10% is not enough. Guys, they're not going to do it for 10. But you make a 50% tariff, they're going to come in. Let me tell you the other thing about tariffs that's great. Our steel companies, as you know, 3-4 years ago, they were all, when I was in office.
Of course he's laughing at him. This is the crazy stuff I'm talking about. Like when I sit here and we look at the tariffs when it comes to Trump, that's his only thing he talks about. Right? As far as like an economic thing. And when you break those down, like he said, it would take years for them to build factories to replace these things. Years. And yet somehow he's saying he gets in office January 20th, 2025, and we're going to break ground in factories when? When? In a month? Who's to say the tariff's even going to work? It sounds good, but it sounds like a super risk. Because if you start building factories and then the price, like the importers still do business with the people doing tariffs because they work something out, they're all getting their money. We're still paying like idiots. Well, we don't need factories. I'm not gonna go through America and pay more. Because America, we have to pay people fair wage. I'm gonna keep doing the tariff thing. I'm gonna keep importing. The illegals are definitely building these factories. You see, these people could not do roofs in Florida. Then they're gonna build a factory? Come on now.
I saw a man.
They've been building this apartment complex over here by me since last year. They've been building this since November of last year. Had the frames up. The frames. November of last year. That means they probably started like what? August, July, something like that. It's not open yet. That's an apartment complex. A factory? Come on now.
And from a big steel company, and he was devastated. I knew him for a long time, and it's been a tough business. It was a great business many years ago, and I would not let U.S. steel be sold to Japanese. By the way, it's psychologically, I think it would be.
That's the Nippon steel, as you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't have let. I wouldn't let it be sold, but I would I would stop it if it hasn't been completed by the time I'm president, because I think it sets a horrible tone. But I had a lot to do with steel. We were going to lose all our steel companies because China, as you remember, was dumping steel at levels that nobody's ever seen before. And I put a 50% tax on that and tariff on that, all dumped steel. And it was also bad steel. It was what they call dirty steel. It wasn't good steel, which is a bad thing for structural components of buildings and planes and things like that.
Right. Every policy kind of leans into one another, right? Like, I want to do mass deportation. Also, I want to build factories. Who's going to build the factories? Americans. Yeah. Americans don't build like houses. Americans don't even sow crops like that. They going to build factories? You sure?
They were dumping crap into our country. And I put a 50% tariff. I started at 25. I raised it to 50 because the 25 didn't quite do it. I raised it to 50, and that did it. They stopped dumping steel. And I saved our steel mills by having that. We saved it. We saved our steel. Now, what was left, because we've lost so much, But there are certain companies you have to have. There are certain things you have to have. Steel, you have to have. If you go to war, you know, there's a possibility you go to war. I kept us out of war. I was the only president in 82 years that kept you out of a war, except I defeated ISIS, but I inherited that war. There are no wars. And by the way, and I think it's very important, we can go, you know, I call it the weave. You can call it, you have the weave as long as you end up in the right location at the end. But while we're talking about it, we have never been so close to World War III as we have.
Oh my God.
With what's going on in Ukraine.
For those of y'all that are 30 plus in the chat, how many times we almost had World War III? If you're 30 plus, how many times? Remember the early days of like Instagram? Remember the World War III memes we used to always put up? During Barack, we had World War III memes. Trump won, we had the Syria thing. When Saudi Arabia got into it, I don't know why people say there are no new wars under Trump. They just forget the times that countries just bombed each other. Like, it's history. You can just look it up. You can just look these things up. Bruh, every single time, why would we get involved in World War III? Between who? Russia and Ukraine? Russia cannot beat Ukraine as it is right now. I thought that war was going to be 36 hours. It has been 3 years. They still fighting. What, Israel, Palestine? Who was the other one? Iran? Remember when Iran and Israel got into it for a day? And they were like, oh, this is it. This is the big one. They fired rockets into the water just to flex their muscles, and then that was it. Now, I'm not saying because there's a loss of life, it's not that big of a deal. At the same time, we always talk about World War III.
In Russia and the Middle East.
Well, let's.
I had no wars in the whole world. Think of it. And I talked them out
They
of
love
wars.
saying
I
that.
talked plenty of countries out of wars. I had the whole world, other than ISIS, which I inherited, and I knocked out ISIS in a matter of weeks. It was supposed to take 4 to 5 years. I did it in a matter of weeks. We actually have a great military. We don't know how to use it, but we have a great
President Trump, with
military.
great respect, I was asking about tariffs. You've gone off about that. Seeing you brought up tariffs and foreign policy, many people would say the biggest problem with your tariffs is actually geopolitics. You, in your first term, you got some credit for effectively saying that there was a Cold War against China. That's what America was in. If you look at the last Cold War against the Soviet Union, America won it in part because it rallied allies to it. You're talking about slamming allies with 30%, 20% tariffs.
Yeah. North Korea, first of all, North Korea can't get a missile outside their borders. Like, they've been testing missiles since Kim Jong-un's father. I remember when his father died. I remember I got that news. I don't know why I remember where I was when Kim Jong-un's father died. That was weird. I was in my house in my bed. It was weird. I remember when Michael Jackson died, where I was in the bed. And then Kim Jong-un's dad died. I don't know why I know that. But yeah, they used to always test missiles. And they always see the footage of it going up and it's crashing. We still worried about North Korea? Now, North Korea as an ally to an enemy, sure. But North Korea by itself,
Isn't this time you're going to end up trying to rally the West? And
we don't know how to use what? Oh, the military? Yeah, the crazy thing is America hasn't declared war since World War II. Did y'all know that? Like the Iraq shit was a military operation. It wasn't a war. Like we said we're at war because people were fighting, but it wasn't a war. We haven't declared war since World War II.
you're dividing it instead. Isn't that the real problem with tariffs, even beyond all the problems due to the economy, where you keep on bringing up these individual examples, but the overall effect is going to be dramatic?
No, the overall effect will be...
Answer first about foreign policy.
Yeah, I'll do that.
How does it help you take on China?
It helps
turning all your allies against you?
tremendously, because China thinks we're a stupid country, a very stupid country. They can't believe that somebody finally got wise to them. Not one president, Bush, Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, have you heard of him?
What is up with this dude, bruh? What's up with this dude, bruh? Why does he do that? He's trying to he keeps doing that to harp home that Barack has a Muslim last name. I mean, a Muslim middle name. The thing is, Trump is easy. I've seen plenty of Trumps in my life. Trump is a guy who needs validation, right? He needs validation. And so the easiest way to get him to do something is to validate him. That's it. Say he's a great leader, strong man, all that stuff. He'll be eating at the palm of your hand. But you see how he brings up Barack and Bush? The question is about tariffs.
Not one president, think of it, not one president charged China anything. They said, oh, they are a third world nation, they're a developing. Well, we're a developing nation too. Take a look at Detroit. Take a look at our cities. We're a developing nation. We have to develop more than they do.
Chat, anybody from Detroit? Y'all gonna let that man talk about y'all like that? This is like the third time he brought y'all up this week. How trash y'all are. This is the third time he brought up this week that Detroit is trash. Hey, plug Connor. You gotta do something about that, big dog. I wouldn't let him talk about Atlanta like that. He said Atlanta bad one time. I'm at his door. Heidi, I wouldn't let him talk about me like that. He say something bad about. Matter of fact, he did say something bad about Georgia. Guess what I did? Rolled up. Secret Service stopped me. He happy they was there. Because it was about to get shaky. I said, what's all they was talking about Georgia, big dog? I put my pants up, and the Secret Service overreacted a bit. But he couldn't be talking about me like that. He probably will say something about Baltimore. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because y'all right next to D.C., he might say something about Baltimore. And that trash-ass city, Baltimore. Like, bro, chill out. But he only talks about black cities. Just so we're clear. You ain't never heard him talk about Montana like that. He ain't never gotten enough about West Virginia. Think about it. Los Angeles, they got crime. Oh, Baltimore is 100% on the hit list. New York, Detroit, Baltimore. He know not to talk about New Orleans. New Orleans, ain't nobody said nothing bad about them since 05. Since before Katrina. Once Katrina happened, we all gave a pass. And we know how they get down out there, so we just leave them alone.
Way behind them. You take a look at what's happened to our cities. So what I'm saying is
my
this.
question was about your allies, not about China. You are...
I like him. He is like, cut the shit. I'm not broke. I'm here because it's my job. I'm not broke, bruh. I don't need to talk to you. You ain't gonna do nothing for me. I asked you about your ally. You talking to me about China. What? I like him.
are going to annoy the
Our allies
rally behind you.
But our allies have taken advantage of us more so than our enemies. Our allies are the European Union. We have a trade deficit of $300 billion with you.
Everybody's going to hate us. They are, okay, quick story. When Trump was running, my family went on a trip to Puerto Rico, San Juan, Puerto Rico. My father is a bit of a chatty patty. When we were out there, the election, like the primary stuff was happening, all that stuff, and he said, y'all excited about, Trump? The tour guide turns around and says to him, my father, we don't talk about him out here. In Puerto Rico. When you leave if he does get elected, all my traveling friends here, when you go to other countries, do not say you're from America. When I would go to other places and I say I was from America, they would treat me a certain way. Because of him. So I'm just letting you know, if he gets elected, if you look like you're from somewhere else, claim the other place. You better learn some Nigerian, you better learn some Ugandan, whatever you got to do. You white, speak Italian, I don't know. But you better not say you from America. They hated, for 4 years, they hated us. He's just about to get in his bag about Europe. He's just about to sit here and talk shit about Europe. Not even just the UK, the European Union, which is like 20 countries. He's about to talk shit about them right now.
European Union. Our allies are Japan. You know, Abe was a very good friend of mine. He was a great guy, great And I said to him in Japan, he was assassinated. And he was a great man. He really was.
He's the guy that got shot. He's the prime minister that got shot by the homemade gun. Which is crazy because it jammed the first time. But he got 2 shots off and killed him with like a homemade gun. And the people actually liked that prime minister.
I didn't see too many like him. And he got very sick and he had to take off. And then he was actually making a comeback. He was going to make a comeback and he would have won easily. But he was a great gentleman, handsome, wonderful man, respected by everybody. And
I can't stream. So I work at night, as you know, as most of you know. I work at night, so I have to go to work. I did work at 10. So I work from 10 to 3 a.m. So I can't even be there. That's why, like, when is the election? No, that was a stupid question. I'm sorry. I didn't mean I didn't mean like that. I meant like, what day of the week is the election? It was a Tuesday. Damn, I'm gonna be I'll stream until I can't stream no more. By 9 o'clock, we should know what's up. By 9 o'clock, we should know like kind of what's up. So I might stream all day that day.
I went to him and I said, Shinzo, we have to talk. What? Trade. And he goes, I'll never forget it. I know. I said, what do you know? I knew you'd come to me. Why do you say that? Because I can't believe, I wouldn't tell the story if he was alive, actually. He said, I can't believe how many years it's been that nobody even negotiated with us in America. I said, Shinzo, you have to pay for your cars. You're sending millions of cars. You don't accept a car from us. You don't have one car that you accept, and yet we're selling 3 million, 4 million of your cars. I said, Shinzo, on agriculture, you won't even accept our agriculture. And I renegotiated a whole trade deal from a little disadvantage because I was stuck with a bad deal. I mean, I got stuck. We have trade deals that were so bad that I said, who are the people that are doing it? They're either very stupid
What
or
is
they're
this
getting
nigga
paid
talking
off,
about?
okay? It's one or the other. It's very simple. We have the worst trade deals all over the world. South Korea, I love South Korea. They're wonderful people, extremely ambitious. They have a money machine. We protect them from North Korea and other people. North Korea is very nuclear. I got along with them very well. Kim Jong-un.
Yes.
Oh, wait. They don't pass anything. And I said, this is crazy. If I didn't put tariffs on, the motor companies, the car companies, they make most of their money at small trucks. I put tariffs on China, but I put 27.5%. Otherwise, we'd be flooded with Chinese cars. And all of our factories would close. We'd have no jobs at all in the auto industry. That goes for electric, by the way, which is a killer, which I've explained, and I don't think I have to bore anybody by talking about it. But I put tariffs on South Korea because they were sending in trucks. And I put tariffs on, fairly substantial tariffs. Do you know that our car companies make almost all of their money with the small trucks, SUVs and small trucks? If I took those tariffs on, you would be inundated. Every car company would be out of business. And I got calls from Ford. I got calls from everybody saying, sir, I can't believe you're doing this for us. You saved our company. They make all their money with us. They make most of their money with us.
Also, let me give you an update, because this is, I don't know what the fuck. This is, oh my God, this is boring. Update. Jimmy Carter has just voted. Hold up. Let me say that again, hold on. Let me play it, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Carter has just voted. Let me get some likes in the chat. I wanted to say something. Hold on, let me. Put my lights. Jimmy Carter, one of the greatest presidents of all time, from the great state of Georgia. Let me cut this down a little bit. Has voted. You know who he voted for. Jimmy, we did it, dog. Come on. Now's not the time to act up. Come on. There we go. What else can I do? loves to act up when I want it to. But we did it, y'all. President Jimmy Carter has voted. He is now cast his ballot. He can finally rest. If tomorrow they announce he passes, I want y'all to know he did it. He was a good president, man. The longest living president from the greatest state in the country. We love you, Jimmy, over here, baby. This for you, baby. This for you. All right, that's enough of that. Jimmy Carter voted, y'all. There we go. All right, listen. It's boring the hell out of me. Let's close this out. I didn't hit 10K this time, but it's fine. I plan on staying on till 9. I need to do other things. Excuse me. That was rude. I need y'all to, if you're not registered to vote, check your registration. If you have not voted, please vote early, right? Don't mail in your ballots. Not this time. I get Rona was happening last time. This is a very serious election. I need y'all to go in tomorrow, the next day, whenever you can. Just go in to vote. Because it's so early, there will be no line. You will be in and out in 10 minutes. If you don't know where you need to vote, please click the link in my bio. Link in my bio, and it will tell you where your voting place is. We cannot mess this up. He gets 2 Supreme Court justice picks. Countries will hate us. This plan is fucking stupid. There is a whole man whose job, he's an economist, sitting there telling him, hey bro, this is stupid. What do you have to say about that? And he's talking about China. Please vote. Please. All right. I'm going to close this one out today. I need to make a video for tomorrow because I'm leaving out first thing in the morning for the funeral. I'll be back because I go to Alabama and then back here. One of my wife's relatives. So we'll talk tomorrow at some point. Y'all get some rest, clean your house, stay safe, stay blessed, and we will do this again. Everyone that votes get 1 hug and or dap, depending on the sex of this person, from Marcel here. Tamika, appreciate you so much. She voted in Ohio. Listen, it's a lot of states. Hey, you in Pennsylvania? Grab the homies. You in Georgia? Me. Grab the homies. You in Arizona, Nevada? Grab the homies. You in Florida? Grab the homies. And take them down to vote. I'm going to sit this one out. No. Sit the next one out. She's 100 years old next week. Take them. Took all your kids? I didn't know how old you were. But thank you. Take a family member, tell a friend, vote. Do not vote against your best interest. We already know that white men are going to do that because they're already at the top of the food chain. White women are going to do that, which is crazy. Black men are deranged at this point for doing this. Hispanics are crazy because I don't know, they feel like they're exempt. They're not. We can't tell. I'm not racist. We can't tell. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. You've been here 30 years, but come on, you know. So please, 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 please try and vote as early as possible. Okay? Now I'm gonna get some rest. I've been sick for the past week, but I pushed through for y'all because I knew we wanted to learn about some things. I promise I will have an in-depth, long-ass stream, probably like Saturday or something like that. I'm off on Saturday from work. We got new schedules. So now I'm Friday and Saturday off. So I get to be shaking in the streets. Even though I'm 38 now and married. It's not the same. But Saturday during the day, I know some of y'all have asked for like a stream while you work. I will stream on Saturday during the day. I promise. Cool? All right. Let me get up out of here. I'll talk to y'all.